Hi everyone, it's Misty from TheJollyFatElf. It's Monday. That means I'm back today with a new stamp set for the week. This week I'm going to be using the Lift Me Up stamp set with the coordinating dies. And I am going to start today by making probably one last Valentine's Day card because it's getting kind of close. So I've done a few things ahead of time. If not, this video would be 102 hours long. I went ahead and cut this piece out. I used my precision plate and then I followed up with my die cut brush. If you don't have this, I know it seems like the most pointless tool ever, but it makes getting these little pieces out super easy. So I really recommend it. And I try not to buy tools that I think aren't going to be necessary, but that one is necessary. Okay? Okay. Alright, so this is what the framelits look like. I'm going to pull this one back out. And I mentioned before that I store mine with my stamp set. So they're both together when I need them. So I'm going to put this, and I also take out the rubber because I hate having to try to smush them in. So there you go. Let's start with our card base. I have a piece of real red that measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 11. And then I scored it at 5 1/2 to make a portrait style A2 size card. Excuse me. Got planners on the brain. Then I have a piece of Whisper White that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I just had my snail. Where did I do with it? Really? Seriously? Oh, it's right here. I was like, I put it right in front of me so I wouldn't lose it. So I'm going to adhere this to the inside of our card. This is going to be our layer. I've mentioned in the past that I like to put a white layer in cards that have a little bit of a darker cardstock. I mean, you could potentially write using a white gel pen, but not everybody has a white gel pen. So I like to make sure whoever is getting this card has the ability to write on the inside. Okay. We are done with our card base for the minute. I need to bring in a scrap piece of paper. So I'm going to bring in this one. I have a piece of watercolor paper. I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4, but I want to go ahead and stamp on it first, and I'm going to need a bigger piece of paper. Let me grab a grid mat. There we go. I should have grabbed one of these to start with. I don't know what I was thinking. Here we go. Okay. So I am going to be embossing this. Do the emboss resist technique. Let's see if I can find the embossing buddy. There it is. So again, this is watercolor paper. I will be stamping on the smooth side. There's a textured side and a smooth side. I'm going to be stamping on the smooth side. So I'll be stamping with Versamark ink, and I'm going to be stamping the little cloud images. Every time I get red ink on this stuff. Where does it even come from? Every time. All right. So I'm gonna add. Ooh, it's good. my ink pad is disgusting, but it's actually good because I can see where I've stamped. I'm going to bring in my white embossing powder. You could also use clear if you wanted to, but I have the white on my desk. I think I mentioned in just about every video that this container came from the Dollar Tree, and it came 3 to the pack. And it's what I store all of my embossing powders in. Oh, I see what happened. You can kind of see, no, you cannot see that at all. You can kind of see where I overstamped. That is the one bad thing about red rubber. I tend to do that more when I'm stamping with cling than I do, or clear, than when I do with photopolymer. So, it's okay, I'm gonna fix it. So I have a paintbrush, and I'm just gonna go through and take all that powder off where it doesn't belong. Other than that, I did a pretty decent job of stamping. So yay me. Let me go ahead and, oh, I made a mess. I made a mess. Per usual. I made a mess. Per usual. See, only in the non-sped up versions do you get to hear me sing it. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my heat tool. I'm gonna melt this down and I will be right back. Okay, that's probably really hard to see, but you can really tell when it hits the light. You can see that all the powder is melted. So I'm going to put this aside to dry, or to cool down, which is a better term. And I'm going to bring in my piece of paper. So I'm using this Designer Series paper for to go behind this pretty yes. A balloon. Brain. What the crap? Okay, I'm going to use a marker. So I want the hearts to be on the background. So I'm going to do this on the back. I'm going to go ahead and outline this. You could totally avoid this step if you cut out the other pieces, but I wanted to put this pattern paper behind it. So then I'm just going to bring in my paper snips and cut around this gray line. Now we don't need to color around this because it doesn't matter if we didn't cut it out, because this has a white core. It's not going to be it doesn't already have a black line is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. And then it's going to fit on like this, so we are going to have a bit to trim, and that's all right. And that's so cute. Oh, that worked. So I still can't find my liquid glue. Fail, Misty. That's a fail. I'm gonna have to just order some more because I cannot find it anywhere. I cannot find it, see, I am, and I broke my fine tip glue pen. So there you go. If you wouldn't know how I did that, I put the lid on and I didn't have the little needle in, so I bent it. Wah, wah. Crafting fail. I have a lot of them sometimes. So this adhesive is completely out of stock, so I'm not gonna, I can't link to it, but I'll link to all my other supplies that I'm using on the blog, and that's where you'll find a PDF tutorial with the measurements. So if you missed them, no worries. You can find them on the blog. And that will be linked down below. Okay, I'm just going to trim this, and I'm going to try not to take off the white. Did I mention that I failed cutting in kindergarten? I think I've mentioned that in the past. Big old fat N or U, I don't remember what the scale was, but I am 38 years old, and I've probably been out of kindergarten for 32 years, or probably 33 years actually, and I still remember to this day that I failed kindergarten, cutting in kindergarten. I also remember someone stealing my brand new box of 64 count crayons and my teacher not believing me. I'm still mad about it. If you're a crafter or a planner person, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing like a brand new sharpened crayon. And I'd got that big 64 count, and my mom had, you know, gone on her way to get it, and he stole it, and my mom was mad. Oh, was she mad? I don't remember more than that though. So I don't know what happened. I'm probably telling the story, and I've already like sped through all of this. Okay, so I've cut out my little balloon, and I'm gonna add rhinestones to it later. But I want to go ahead and get to watercoloring. So I have my aqua painter, and I have Bermuda Bay. Now you're probably thinking, why should you use some Bermuda Bay and not Pool Party? Pool Party will probably wash out a lot, so I want to give this a chance to be a vibrant color, and I probably, oh, that should be enough. Bring this in, add a little bit of water, so this is basically like a crayon emboss resist, where you draw on crayon, white crayon, and then you go over it. I'm going to go over it a second time. I do like that's what it looks like once it's dried, and it did start to peel just a little bit. And we could add more color if we wanted to, but I really like how this looks like a windy, blustery day. Not necessarily blustery, but a windy day. I know what I mean. All right, so let me bring in my paper trimmer. I'm gonna cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. It may already be that size. Can't remember what I cut it to. 4, nope. 5, to attach this with tearing tape. That way it's a stronger adhesive. So I've used this several times over the last couple of weeks because it's really, I mean, the ease of use is like so good. And since we colored this, we're gonna need all the reinforcement we can get. I mean, we watercolored this. If it were just regular ink without any water, we probably wouldn't need all this adhesive. And I missed this way. Paper towel or dry paper towel and kind of go over get a little bit up. Okay. I've been kind of cold on and off all day. There's no pulling this back up. So once it's stuck, it's stuck. Luckily, I didn't do too bad of a job. Too bad. Yeah, see, it's not going to come up. Okay, that's fine. It can be a little, be okay. Let's bring in our balloon. I'm going to adhere this with some Stampin' Dimensionals. These are leftovers from my paper pumpkin kit. But you guys have seen me use dimensionals before. It's nothing new. Nothing new over here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. I don't even know if I want to put a sentiment on this. Although it would be cute if it was carrying a little banner. That's probably more fitting for that's probably more fitting for a airplane though, right? Ugh, we need a sentiment. So I'm gonna bring in this will do. That'll do, okay, that'll do. This is just a scratch note card that I screwed up today during my live stream for my Stamp Club Online people. If you want more information about that, it is in the description box down below or over on my blog. Love is in the air, everywhere I look around. Somebody was saying they wanted to see more Roxy. She really hasn't been in here much. Oh no. Been in here much when I've been crafting. And this week she has a cold. She's had a cold the last couple of days. Oh no. Dang it. Before I go any further, I need to wash that stamp set, or I will have red ink from here to Kingdom Come. So I'm gonna cut And I think I'm just going to cut it like that instead of trying to Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I want to adhere some of these rhinestones. So I will probably fast forward through this part because this can be a little tedious, a little tedious to do and a little tedious to watch. So I will catch back up with you when I am done. Guys, that is it for today's card. I hope you liked it. I really feel like it needs some shimmer. Here I go again, adding too much. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it as it is. Although I think the background would look really pretty with some shimmer. Nope, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it as is. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me. Again, if you want a PDF tutorial, make sure you head over to my blog and check that out. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you would have added shimmer or do you like it as is, or whatever you would have done to make this card better, or if you think it's perfect as is. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.